We are not always in the comfortable of life. At many times we discover ourselves as if we were inside out. Suddenly the order is undone. It is because we are alive. Existence is yourself. Suddenly you took an exam result that has placed you, which has now made you lose a new time in your story. It is not in that health that you imagined being. An examination disagree with our lives. Yes, I know what it is. Sometimes we are full of plans for the future, and suddenly we will have to postpone because we will have to have a treatment. And so, life is constantly disagreed because we are alive. It is part of the dynamics of existence. Suddenly, someone you love was having coffee with you today and is dead at night. And so, the one who did future projects yesterday, today, was buried. That child that until then you had in your arms is no longer. It would be a very naive view of life. Why does this really weaken the human being? Life disorganizes our story all the time. Why? Because it is dynamic. It is not static. And that's how we have to live. Managing the averse, managing the discomfort. What dismisses us? That makes us afraid. This is the experience of constant coping. Life is like this. Those who promised fidelity betray. They are fragile, as I am, as you are. As a priest, I've seen so many sufferings that... Yes, it makes a lot of suffering. Much makes us suffer, but it hurts very, very special, very cruel, I say. Being betrayed, losing confidence, can no longer look into the eyes of the one you once trusted your life. Not know what he makes of your life. That he has many of his things, which are his own. The other takes us with him, and when he cheats on us, he is cheating on us. Because there are us inside him. It is more than losing a material object. It is much more than losing something of value. It is the breaking of confidence. And don't keep thinking it's just you that happens, right? See? My neighbor has a much better life than mine. Because you do not know. It's because you don't know the conflicts it faces closely. Get ready. If you want to live the dynamics of Christianity in you, get ready to face your contradictions. Get ready to see the averse of your feeling, to have the courage to deal with what you have closest to what you sometimes hide. Get ready to remove this spot of holiness that sometimes we decide to put on us, to see if we hide our defects, to see if we hide dear shame. On the mountain of our temptations, where we are, where I am, where you are, with this dynamic life disorganizing the structures that support us, we also need to establish the clashes with the devil, which does not have the slightest interest in our happiness, in our joy, in our fulfillment. So all that he offers us is terrible, bad, destructive. Get ready to be honest to identify that what you crucify so much is what you are not able to crucify in you. In the territory where I am situated today, I need to manage failures, successes. I don't know what the raw material is part of its history today. What I know is that anywhere in the world, the dynamic is the same. Anywhere in the world, the dynamic is the same. Have to manage the conflict of being who we are. The higher we want to live, my people, the greater the incidence of strong winds. Seeking things from above, yes, always. But get ready. Because staying high requires a lot of willingness to face strong winds daily. Because sometimes we think that looking for things from above is going up that flowered hill and sitting there just like a Buddha. No, my son, is to establish my feet and constantly experience imbalance. That's right, would be very naive, wouldn't it? Think that God had puts us high and that everything will be flowery and beautiful and beautiful and beautiful and sophisticated. Because life is only real. Only those who have proved the pain saw life in real tones. Because in illusion, no one can be happy. In illusion, no one can be happy, which makes us forwarded to this happiness that we so want and we can find, as Guimarães Rosa said, in hours of carelessness, is when you notice yourself at the top of this hill, facing the wind and willing to continue in that position. There is no way to be on top of a lot and not suffer the problems of the wind, because it is at the top of the mount that things happen, my people. So it's disorganized, it's bad, it's hard. Feel at the top of this hill, feel in the context of contradictions and wisdom articulating these contradictions. Life does not ask us for permission to disorganize our hearts. And it is as if we are exposed to a territory where everything is painful, everything is hurt, everything is suffered. Seeking things from above and facing the strong winds. Because when God enters a person's life, the winds are so strong that hypocrisy cannot stand. They all fall apart. It's like you want to have this hair that you brush from time to time to go to weddings and run from the rain and the wind. It's even funny because if we want this Christian proposal to constantly seek things from above, you will have to prepare daily to make your confrontations and deal with what in you. It's a makeup. It's caricature. It's silly. It's futile. It's futile. And then you are experiencing an experience of winning this futility gradually, Note, be able to analyze the realities that are diabolical and addictive in the world. And you will see if all this causes joy, happiness, the realization of someone what. It may even cause temporary pleasure, but it does not perform. So we are on this hill where life is so difficult because the winds are many. Christian life is discomfort, which is why in Lent we remember the discomfort and to see if we wake up. It is not so that God can write down in your notebook how many Wednesdays, how many Fridays have you been without meat, or did not do that. No, God is much more interested in knowing what is the repercussion of this whole sacrifice in your life, and that he doesn't even write down in the notebook, he just smiles. One will not strengthened is the gateway to everything that is evil, because the devil likes naughty, unwilling, lazy, uncompromising, irresponsible people with himself. These people he recruits, and it is sowing in these lazy hearts their harmful seeds, as I like to say, that the devilish grows in us through us. I am impressed to see how the dynamics of the Christian life is uninstalling, and we are wanting peace. We want tranquility. We want to be quiet. As the human being cannot grow in quiet. To be born, do you need to be removed from quiet? Have you been born with a slap in the ass to see if you cry? And are you wanting to be different later? If you don't slap you in your ass so you don't breathe, you don't breathe. Is that how we are born? Absolutely dependent on the discomfort for us to wake up. Because if we are born and do not give us this inaugural slap, it is like that. Remembering that life is confrontation, that life is sacrifice. Yes. It is difficulty. And that even beautiful things are only produced the moment people are like this. Facing their sacrifices. I did not see any interesting artist who was not absolutely committed to their sufferings. There is no literature of very organized hearts. Very cute. Very literature is born of chaos. Is imperfect hearts. Dissatisfied hearts. Which are on this hill. Standing and fighting for dignity. The good artist is the one who deals daily with his conflicts. Now, imagine, to make art need sacrifice? Much more to be a Christian. God knows me much more than I know myself. So you can't believe this God who counts what we do, in the amount we do. No? It is necessary to look that what really pleases God is when he perceives us strengthened at the top of this hill, facing the contrary winds. Sometimes I keep thinking that we imagine that God is much worse than us. Has already stopped to think that sometimes the vision we have is God, the same vision we have from us? Because we do that, we keep an eye on if the other did. If it didn't, isn't it simple? It works. Because we are petty. And sometimes we think that God also has a notebook, right? That is there. He today went to Mass. He was not. What nothing can please a father than to see his son facing the contrary winds and remaining standing. This is what is proud. It is a championship overdue with fight. It is a race that has to work hard to reach the end. Life is that. But not because God is writing down on your accounting notebook, because that's petty thinking. We cannot think that God has the same defects as you. We cannot think that God suffers from the same petty shops as us. Because I'm petty, I like to have my notebook to write down the favors that people make me. How much they please me. How much they displease me. God doesn't have this notebook. What God has is a heart that feels with ours each time we endure the winds at the top of the hill. And he rejoices and says again, is a smile on his face. And I want to remove this view that God is petty as I do. By renouncing something in my life, I hope it reverberates in my way of being.